Okay, what I'm going to talk about this time is I've had a request for exchange rates, and I guess the exchange rate splits into two main bits. So this one's going to be about the determinants of exchange rates. I think the thing to understand about exchange rates is really it's just a price. It's the price of one currency in terms of another. And because it's a price, what that means is that it can be explained using supply and demand. So if we revisit our high quality visual aid, what we can do is we put the price up here, which is the exchange rate, and along here we'll put the quantity of whichever currencies is we're talking about. Let's suppose we're talking about pounds. Up here we're going to put a strong exchange rate, and by strong exchange rate we mean that for your currency you get lots of the other one. So say £1 equals $2. And down here we'll put a low exchange rate, say £1 equals $1. I think we have a guest video star wanting to appear here. Go on, quickly. No, go on, scram Verity. Generally terminology, we say that if we move that way from £1 equals $1 to £1 equals $2, then that's an appreciation. The pound has risen. If we go the other way, the pound has fallen, and that's a depreciation. So all we gotta think about is what determines supply and demand. And if we turn to supply, I think that's the thing that's most commonly misunderstood. The supply of pounds in this context isn't the UK money supply. So it's not really the Bank of England that is doing the supplying here. I mean, it can do, but it isn't primarily. The supply of pounds in this context is those people who have sterling, they have pounds, and they don't want it. What they want is they want dollars, they want euros, they want yen, they want rubles, they want yuan, and so on. Yeah. So sometimes the Bank of England might be involved in that. It might be selling sterling to build up its reserves of foreign currency. But most often, it's institutions, individuals, banks, speculators, and so on, who are taking their pounds and turning them into another currency. So what you've got to ask yourself is, well, why might I be doing this? Why might I be selling pounds? Why am I supplying pounds? And there are two main subsets of reasons. Firstly, what I might be wanting to do is I might be wanting to buy goods. So what we can say is the supply of pounds is equal to goods brought in from abroad. It's imports. So in order to buy American apple pie and so on, then I'm gonna need dollars, or somebody's going to need dollars along the way. Somebody's going to take pounds and turn them into dollars. But by far and away the bigger proportion of supply comes from flows for investment and speculation purposes. So in this case, it's people selling pounds and to put them into foreign banking systems, foreign assets, and so on, capital outflows. These are driven by a whole variety of things. It could be, for example, that UK interest rates have gone down, or that overseas interest rates have gone up. What that means is that instead of holding your money in the UK, you might want to hold it abroad. Well, not you and me, but people with millions and millions, for whom a small change in interest rates can make a big difference. So if Swiss interest rates rise or British interest rates fall, people may take their sterling, sell it, supply more, and hold Swiss francs. Likewise, if there is, so the pound has been weak as a result of uncertainty over the election of late. So people are selling their, selling their pounds to hold them in foreign currencies. If you expected interest rates to change, or you expected the exchange rate to change, you might buy or sell, before that happens, so you can make a profit. So those are the people who are supplying. When are you most likely, other things being equal, however, when are you most likely to turn your pounds into dollars? And the answer is, when £1 equals $2. Then you can buy American assets quite cheaply. You can go to Disneyland, come and see Mickey comparatively cheaply, and so on, because you're getting lots of dollars for your pound. So therefore, the supply will be upward sloping. At a low exchange rate, supply is relatively low. At a high exchange rate, we're more likely to go and visit the States to buy American assets and so on. So supply, we can say, is equal to imports plus capital outflows, like that. Demand works the same way. except in reverse, of course. Yeah. So demand for pounds. Oh rats! This blooming pen's going to run out. The demand for pounds is going to come from people who need sterling who don't currently have it. So why might I need sterling? Firstly, I might need it. I might need it to buy, to buy UK exports. Yeah, so UK firms want to be paid in their own currency, or alternatively, I might want to be paid. I might want to buy UK assets. Yeah, so instead of holding my own assets, I might want to put money into UK banks, which I might do if interest rates are high. I might want to buy shares on the UK stock exchange and so on. So in this case, when would sterling? When would people be most likely to buy sterling? And when are we going to buy pounds? And the answer is, of course, this time I'm much more likely to buy pounds if £1 equals $1. £1 equals $1. Every pound costs me $1. Whereas if £1 equals $2, that's much more expensive. So therefore, demand, does that work? Yeah, approximately. Yeah, I'm stealing my daughter's felt tips here. Is equal to exports plus capital inflows. Yeah, there it is. That is legible. Okay, so here, when £1 equals $1, there's demand is Q2, but when £1 equals $2, demand is only whatever Q3. So therefore, in the usual way, the exchange rate will come to equilibrium, where supply equals demand. If we're above the equilibrium, there'll be excess supply, which will push the exchange rate down. If we're below equilibrium, there'll be excess demand, which will push the exchange rate up. So what can then cause the exchange rate to change? And the answer is any change in the desire for UK goods and services. So the most common examples would be something like the ones we were talking about earlier, like say a decrease in UK interest rates. If UK interest rates fall, then two things happen. Or even if they're expected to fall, to be honest. Because if they're expected to fall, then you'd be more likely to sell now, because you'd be expecting people to, other people to sell pounds as well. So, and then the exchange rate would go down. So if we take, there's our equilibrium, D equals X plus CI, S equals M plus CO. There's the exchange rate E1, quantity Q1. What we're saying is that suppose UK interest rates go down or foreign interest rates go up or something, then what's going to happen is that firstly, people will seek to switch money out of sterling. They'll sell their pounds wanting to hold dollars and so on abroad. Yeah? Therefore, supply rises to S2 equals M plus CO2. At the same time, fewer people will be wanting to put their money from abroad into the UK banking system, so it's likely that demand is going to fall to D2 equals X plus CI2. Therefore, at the original exchange rate, there's now excess supply, so we reach a new equilibrium at a much lower exchange rate, E2, where demand equals supply again. So it's one of those situations. I mean, probably in that case, it's the kind of increased supply of pounds that that makes. No, it's the increased supply of pounds that makes the biggest difference there. This board doesn't like this pen. Other things can be to do with the trade position, for example. So suppose that there is a sudden increase in imports, then that would increase the supply of pounds, and the exchange rate would go down. If there's a sudden fall in exports, that would decrease the demand for pounds, exchange rate would go down, and so on. So really, it's just a question of taking any given factor that you come across. Like suppose there is global uncertainty. What tends to happen then is people want to put money into Switzerland, where they think it's going to be safe. Therefore, the demand for Swiss francs will go up, which is the same as people selling, say, sterling, to put money into Swiss francs. So what you do is whenever you're analysing exchange rates, you take supply and demand. Supply is imports plus capital outflows. Demand is exports plus capital inflows, and then you just decide. She's outside, Tom. then you just decide what it is that's changing. I hope that makes sense. Essentially, it's simple supply and demand. It's just a question of deciding what supply and demand are. In the next one, I'll have a look at what happens if the exchange rate goes up or down.